Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our new program, new project, Mma Armenia Broadcast. My name is Gagi Kasatrian, and let me introduce a friend, our guest, Mr. Arman. Okay, welcome to our program, and today we are going to discuss about the MMA, the history, development, and different training systems. Okay, you train in China, right? Also, you train with me in my gym, and what's your experience?
Okay, first of all, hello everyone. I'm very honored to be in this project and share my experience of MMA. Now about the question. Well, it was my first experience in MMA, and I really liked it because it helped me to develop both physically and mentally. But let's now talk about the general MMA, because when you train about it, you don't really have that much time to think about the theory of MMA. Now, my question is, what do you think, Gago? When did MMA initiate as a concept, and when did it become a sport?
You know, MMA, let's say it started a long time ago. You know, we can say going back to the pancreas, Greece, and we can say old Rome, Italy, and we can say we can go back to India history, and we can say China. Okay, different versions. And for a new era, we can talk about the Gracie family. We can talk the concept that Bruce Lee made it, you know, MMA concept. And we can talk about, let's say, first UFC event. And of course, we can talk about ArmFC event in Armenia. So basically, it started a style versus another style, you know. It was the old days. But now it's like a more of an athlete versus athlete. And the interesting thing is the style is the same, right? But the different continents, they have a different training systems. Let's say Latin America, let's say Brazil, they are more technical, they pay attention on the details. Let's say North America, USA, the athletes are well prepared, you know. The nutrition is right there, the injuries, sports rehabilitation, there, they have a doctors, they have a full professional team. Let's say in the Soviet Union, basically Soviet Union athletes are strong, nature is strong, you know, testosterone level is really high. And I can say like a few words about Asian MMA. The endurance is better, the cardiovascular system is better. So most of the Chinese athletes, let's say they can fight like in really good condition, like 2 or 3 rounds or even 5 rounds. So the interesting thing is the training system, okay, and let's say the striking art and the grappling art. So what do you think about the grappling aspect, let's say, you train?
Okay, well, in my experience, what I have had time to, in my short experience actually, I've seen that the grappling part of the training system helps to develop willpower. And about the striking, it's more like playing a chess. Actually, grappling is also like playing chess, because I'm a chess player, and it was very easy for me to get adapted to the new techniques. But actually, my question is, the grappling and striking aspects require different kind of physical features, right? So one is more about picking your shots correctly, while the other is about endurance, waiting for your opponent to make a mistake and catching him in a submission. So what do you think? Which part is more important, grappling or striking, or?
You know, for me, it's both important. And I see, by the way, I see the grappling like, you can say judo, sambo, jiu-jitsu, Greco-Roman wrestling, or freestyle wrestling. For me, it's science. It's an art. You know, it's like, because when you talk about the leverage, you have to talk about biomechanics, you have to talk about the physics. Okay? So I don't see a particular style there. I just see from scientific point of view. And striking, you know, let's say you are a good striker, but and your cardio, you can work for 3 rounds. But if I take you to the ground, maybe you will get exhausted within like 10 seconds or 30 seconds. So the endurance is totally different. You can run like marathon runner, like you can run 40 kilometers, but once you are inside the cage, once you are inside the ring, it's totally different story.
Okay, but now we
both are important.
Yeah, but we know that we have different striking sports and different grappling sports, such as wrestling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and for striking we have kickboxing, Thai boxing, boxing. So what do you think about combinations, the right combinations? Because actually martial artists, they don't train everything. So they pick one aspect of grappling, one sport from grappling. Let's say, I've heard that Muay Thai and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, are a very common combination, while from the other hand they have boxing and wrestling. But I'm asking your opinion about that. Which sports are easier or smarter to combine? Yes,
for me, it depends on the fighter, on his character, on his mental toughness, physical abilities, his strength and conditioning. Let's say Nick Diaz, he's not throwing strong punches, but he is a volume puncher. So he needs a good cardio. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's a good boxer. And we can talk about Ken Shamrock. All he needs to do is just take opponent to the ground and submissions, So he needs a little bit, let's say, boxing, and a little bit wrestling, and a lot of jiu-jitsu. And let's say Chuck Liddell. He's a wrestler, but his timing is really like great, So he's catching the guys with a great timing and with his, let's say, right hand or left hook. So basically, I think if you train in the beginning, you can mix boxing with wrestling, or kickboxing with jiu-jitsu, or maybe you can just box with takedown defense.
Okay, but now, given your experience in China, what can you say about the Chinese MMA? Which sports, from grappling and from striking, do they like to mix around? I know they have their sport sanda, which is a lot like kickboxing, but with some differences. So, what is the situation in China in terms of sports? What do they like to mix together? Which grappling arts are more developed and which are less developed?
Basically, the Chinese MMA started in 1998, I can say. Mr. NDP, he brought BJJ to China because he is a student of Mr. Horace Gracie. He trained with Mr. Horan Gracie, the founder of UFC, and he trained with Grandmaster Rickson Gracie. So basically he brought BJJ to China, and then he took Sanda fighters, and teach them Jiu-Jitsu. So, and he thought, okay, let's put it versus different styles. Let's see how it works. And the training system is really scientific. So Sanda fighters become more of MMA fighters. And the Sanda is very famous. Let's say Muay Thai in Thailand and Sanda for Chinese. Basically, Sanda fighters, they are more they have a faster rhythm of fighting. Let's say they can work like non-stop for 3 rounds and like a lightning, very fast. But the technique is mostly based like catching the legs and the throws. It's very suitable for MMA, very, very suitable.
Okay. So now that we discussed MMA as a sport and as a training system, what would you say about the promotion side of things? Because, MMA, it's not only about training, it's about setting up fights, promoting fights, etc. How is the condition in different continents in terms of promotions? What promotions are there? Which ones are more successful? What is the history in general?
Let me start with ArmFC. ArmFC is the best organization. We have Arm Fighting Federation, and there is a huge contribution to Armenia, So young kids are training, they are preparing, and very professional training, so growing up really, really fast. And then let's talk about the events. Let's West Side, UFC, of course. Mr. Horan Gracie, he wanted to prove, and let's say if Jiu-Jitsu works versus other styles, against other styles. So he put all this combination together. And now you see it's like a biggest event in the world. And we have a Bellator, of course. They have a really great matchmaking. They make a great fights. And we can talk about Russian organizations. We can talk about Brazilian, let's say, bare knuckle fights. No holds barred, vale tudo. It depends. It depends. Let's say back in old days, like in Japan, pancrase, different rules. You are not allowed to strike here to the nose, but you can slap opponent. And some rules, they say you cannot do the ground pound on the face, just the body punches. And there are some rules also, when it is to the ground, you have 30 seconds. And there are another rules, let's say submissions only on the ground. But on stand-up, you can do striking. Let's take like Bas Rutten, champion, and he's like Mentas pancrase. And then let's take Frank Shamrock, he was also pancrase champion. So it's for me, it's like how you organize the event.
I know you have quite a lot of experience from Chinese promotions. Asian and especially Chinese promotions. What can you say about those? What is the development level like now? How are they developing? Are they even developing, or are they including more fighters? How is the interaction of Chinese promotions with the West now, with the Americans, etc.?
In Asia, let's say in China, the best organization is ArmFC. They started from 2005, and it's really huge. So because the Asian market is really big, wushu guys, they're like stand-up guys, and now they have a good grappling base because of jiu-jitsu, and now they have a huge audience. And the Asian market, also the mentality, when they see a fight, they try to analyze, the opponent. They don't see like, entertainment, just kill a blood.
Yeah,
no,
reverse engineering. They do that with products. So they basically do the same with the fighters and the training, right?
So Asians are very smart, they see your technique. Maybe you can go to give seminars and they are learning so fast. So it's growing really. Asia is the big market. And I can talk about also ArmFC, very professional, organized, very, very professional. They have also medical check. They have a great matchmaking.
They have a different weight cutting system even. Some kind of hydration.
Yes, hydration test. Because some fighters, they cut too much weight. Let's say like 20 kilograms, some fighters like 10, 15 kilograms. For me personally, I don't think it's good. It affects on your kidney, on your cardiovascular system, and maybe you are too weak, you cannot recover on time.
Yeah, it happens a lot. So
you have to control. Let's say if you are technically good, you don't care about a few grams. Let's say you can fight more than 10 kilogram opponent, because if you take him to the streets, there is no weight category, there is no weight cut. So you have to think like that, like a street fighter, but professional street fighter in the cage or in the ring. And let's say the weigh-in is like one day before, right? Let's say today's weigh-in, you are going to fight the day after tomorrow. Within like 1 or 2 days, you can gain like 10, 15 kilogram back.
Yeah, that happens in UFC, I think.
A lot of fighters, they do that, So in Art of War, we make it a little bit different. We make like, two weigh-ins. Today you weigh in, let's say early in the morning, 8 o'clock, and tomorrow you weigh in at 8 o'clock, and tomorrow evening you are going to fight. So in that way, it's like fair for all fighters, because there is no huge difference. You cannot even you are full, but you lose your energy. You are not ready for the fight. So it's the best way.
So another question is about different rule sets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like different promotions, different countries, they have different rule sets. Which one you prefer more? I'm not saying which one is better, because one rule set is more for like MMA as a sport, while the other one values MMA as combat art. So basically one tries to save the athlete, no sucker kicks to the head, no elbows, no 12 to 6 elbows, etc. But there are other rule sets which value MMA as a combat sport. So they want to see blood. Now I want to ask your opinion about that. Which one you prefer more?
For me, like let's say we go back to Pride FC, the best Japanese organization. Everybody knows a lot of great fighters.
A lot of great fights.
Nogueira, Coleman, Fedor. They have the rules like soccer kicks are allowed. And the shoot box team, Wanderlei Silva and Shogun and Ninja, they are really good on soccer kicks. So it's an advantage for them. When it goes to the ground, they just don't pass the guard, nothing. They just kick your head. And but elbows are not allowed in Japan. But in UFC, soccer kicks are not allowed. You will get penalty. But elbows are allowed. So some organizations, they say, okay, throw an elbow, the guy gets cut, and the fight is over. So it's not so exciting.
But which one you prefer more? It's like,
I prefer like...
If it were up to you for a promotion...
If it's up to me, of course, for professional level, A-level fighters, everything goes. Because MMA is like everything. There's no set of rules, like, let's say, elbows, soccer kicks, everything, but only for professionals. But if you talk about the amateurs, or if you talk about the kids MMA, no, take out the soccer kicks, because the kid is growing up. You don't want them to get injured.
Good question. Now that you brought that topic up, when do you think kids should start training? Because if you do it too early, the kid might have physical difficulties growing up. What is the optimal age for a kid to start? MMA is a sport that has a lot of, damages. You get injuries, very different ones. You might get short-term injuries. You might have long-term injuries. So when should kids start training?
For me, there is no optimal age. There is no standard. You can start as, let's say,
from biological standpoint.
Let's say you are 3-4 years old kid and you have a conscience. So you can start. Some people, they say, we don't want to start like until 6 years old. Let's say some people, they didn't know about MMA, so they started when they are like 20. Let's say Frank Shamrock. Frank Shamrock, he was UFC champion. He started with training with his brother Ken Shamrock when he was 22. Like within a few years, he became a champion. So it's not about the time, it's about the intensity and how scientific you train.
Yeah. It's just if you start too early, let's say 10 years old, you might get some injuries that might leave a permanent issues.
Yeah, it's very important with whom you train. It's important to get the coach. Because if your coach is, let's say, dumb, you get too many injuries. If your sparring partner is trying to hurt you, they have an ego, they want to kill you on the mats, you will get injured, they will get injured, and nobody will not come to the training. And the team will not get stronger. So that's why, you have to arrange really in the scientific way. It doesn't matter, you are like a kid, like 6 years old, you are coming here for fun, for play, or you are like 20 something, or you are just working in the office, you are coming to train MMA. It's like how you prepare as a fighter. But there's no age, for me there's no age.
So if there is no age, then it has something to do with technique and cardio combination, right?
Yes.
So how do you, as a coach, and how do you pick the right combination for a given athlete?
Yes, for strength and conditioning.
Yeah, like you have, from one side you have techniques, like striking, grappling, etc. And then from the other side you have cardio, building endurance and stuff. How do you pick, how do you combine, how do you create the training program for a given athlete?
For cardio is different because there are so many CrossFit coaches or whatever you call it, or weightlifting coaches. But it's MMA specific strength and conditioning. You have to analyze his weak points and strong points. Let's say Brock Lesnar. He is the toughest one, and the Sean Shelby.
Strong one.
Yes, but they're training, let's say they train like 5 rounds, 5 minutes, and each round they do just one exercise. In the beginning, power strength, then they go like endurance training. So it depends, and it also depends on the fighter. Let's say Royce Gracie, he was not physically big, but he was really strong, and his cardio, it can last forever.
Yeah.
And it depends, like if you are like cardio machine, if you are really physically fit, but if you don't know how to breathe correctly, you are going to get fatigued so fast.
Yeah. Actually, I've also seen that experience. My cardio wasn't that good when I started, but I felt how my cardio grew when I was training, and it also helped me to grow in my technique and willpower. Because if you have more cardio, then you can train more technique as well. So it's not just about cardio. Yeah. So thank you very much for inviting. Thank you for a very informative interview and for our shared experience in China. Actually,
welcome. You are always welcome. You are our guest, and see you next time. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next program. See you soon.
Սկսեք 2020 թվականը մաքուր կրեդիտ պատմությունով.
We are a credit repair company specialized in removing inquiries in an hour. We help with building your credit history and boosting your credit score.
Տեղեկությունների համար զանգահարեք. Խորհրդատվությունն անվճար է.
Collection, charge-off, repossession, inquiries, late payments, credit score increase, business credit history. Build your dream credit with us. One credit fix.